G-I-G-G-S. No. Rhodri.
Is there anything that Lionel Messi is better than you at?
It's opinions. I respect the opinions. Maybe in your opinion Messi is better than me, but in my mind I'm better than him.
I do it again.
Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Told her if it's all me, everything is on me. Gon' back it up. Matter what? Told you I'ma do me. Why you hating on me? It's not adding up. I do roll like a Mack truck. Country heart, I'm a cop of farm and go act up. Lot of scars, I was cold-hearted, now I'm back up. Keep it real, I do this once a month, I don't rap much. I just hit the money and go stack up. Only buy cards and get tatted up. All that other bull, it don't matter much. You only climb me, I put the ladders up. No fault, I done doubled up on the workload. I think I fell in love with the bankroll. Pray up, get money, then we lay low. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Add it up,
Yes, guys, I'm Si. Welcome to Ace Podcast Nation, the home of Rhodri Giggs on football. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. And, of course, if you prefer your audio podcasts, then we do every show, this show and all the other shows that Ace Podcast Nation produces, available at the Sports Social Podcast Network. Check them out. Today's show brought to you by Heights Brain Care. Heights is the world's #1 brain care brand. What is brain care, I hear you ask? Brain care is when you care for the brain. Doesn't get much simpler than that. It means caring for something that has been caring for you secretly since the minute you were born, the brain. It's movement and it's all its actions, behaviors that set you up for life to live it on your terms. Good nutrition, switching off, sleeping deeply, moving your body, staying curious is where it begins. Good brain care habits affect more than your brain. They have knock-on effects and benefits in your life, well-being, mental health, and of course, physical. We want to show the people all the ways that they can practice good brain care and how they're already doing it. It isn't a one-off thing. Forming habits and routines which incorporate brain care is essential to help the brain thrive every single day. Heights Brain Care Supplement, the Smart Supplements formula of 20 key vitamins and minerals, including vitamins D, C, B12, blueberry, and omega-3, targets everything from poor sleep to brain fog and stress, so you feel better every day. Go to Heights, yourheights.com, start your brain care journey today, and guess what? You can use the code ACENation, get 10% off your first subscription order. Yourheights.com, ACENation the code. Get it done and get rid of that brain fog. But on we go, and delighted as ever because we got lots to discuss this evening, to be joined by ex-Salford City and FC United winger, Mr. Rhodri Giggs. How are you, mate?
I bet.
It's happening.
Yeah,
it's hot is what is happening.
Yeah.
So,
bit sweaty.
Sweaty is not a word, mate. I am moist. So you were supposed to be abroad, mate, at a wedding, and you're not.
Yeah, should be in Marbella right now, but I'm here.
So that foot is like it's missing golf, weddings, all sorts. It's brutal, mate. Yeah, got to stop these charity football games, mate. I think it's time. It's time for retirement. Got to go into the golfing sunset.
Possibly, might go to the senior tour. Possibly.
Well, what you could do is what a certain Gareth Bale does: is got to put things in order, haven't you? And golf and your football club and stuff like this. Yeah. Unless, of course, your football club changes to somewhere closer to home.
Well, it's not.
It's easier, isn't it?
Football club, it is for charity, so it's not for nothing.
No, I know. So, obviously, I was playing, but the Gareth Bale rumor has been going on, feels like months now.
Rumour, probably listen to this every week and say, yeah, Roger was right, he's gone to Cardiff. Can't see anything but
affecting the Paddy Power betting odds. But in fairness, he was at the Cardiff City training ground yesterday, and like I got told on, I think it was Sunday night or Monday night, that it was pretty nailed on, and I had no reason to not believe two people who told me. They were kind of, they would probably have an idea, and it's funny because way back in the Euros, like this is how long it's been rumored. Like way back in the Euros, I asked Gilo about it, and he said, no chance. There's no way he'll go to Cardiff. He's too good for that level and stuff like that. But things do change, and it makes sense. And it looks like it's happening. It's a cracking signing for.
Nothing's changed.
No, nothing has changed. I don't think, and I said that at the time.
It's his hometown. He's got a World Cup with Wales, and it's just he's coming to the end of his career. He's in the position now where, you know what, I'm going to choose where I'm going to play, and I'm going to be happy and I'm going to do it. Make sure my family are happy, and where's better than home? So
exactly,
it's just a no-brainer, absolute no-brainer. When he had the Getafe thing, I thought, maybe then, because it's in Madrid, it's next to Madrid, and he won't have to leave home. But then when he kiboshed that, Cardiff all day.
The thing is, mate, as well, right, is like I've seen a lot of people saying, because like same as when Bellamy came, you get a lot of jealousy from other football clubs who would love to sign a player at that level, and they're kind of giving it, how are they going to pay his wages? But like ultimately, the guy's been on 26 million a year for the last 5 years on wages alone. He doesn't need money. He could play for free if he wanted to.
Yeah, I know. But listen. Let me just rewind a bit.
Yeah.
Even though you're saying he won't be getting big money, he'll still be getting something like 20 or 40 or 50,000 pounds a week.
100%. So
because he'll be involved with the shirt sales and all the merchandise that's involved with Cardiff. That's how they can. So let's not feel sorry for him. We'll still be getting a good chunk of
money. So Cardiff got a tight budget this year on wages of 12 grand a year, 12 grand a week, 12 grand a year, 12 grand a week, right? But 12 grand a week. But I would imagine they could probably stretch to like 20 for him.
Wait they've got a wage bill of 12 grand a week
per player, supposedly.
All right, yeah.
So like, I do wonder. I think I said this to you a couple of weeks back. I do wonder if the reason why we've predominantly signed young players and lower league players on pretty much nothing, free transfers, is with the idea that they're going to bring in Bale and Ramsey on loan, so they're going to need a bit of additional wages. My only worry with that, from a Cardiff fan point of view, is Gareth Bale's not going to play every single game, so he cannot do it on his own. So you have to have players who can step in, because he's likely to only play one game a week, for instance.
One game a week, that'll be it.
And that's if he stays fit all season. Same, I would say, with Ramsey. I think if he comes in, it looks like that might be a loan deal if that happens. Although there was a thing last week, which was a lot of the Italian journalists were saying that Juventus had offered to pay him off like 3 million and release him from his contract completely. But he's got another year on his contract, and he gets paid like, I think, about 18 million a year. So would he accept a 3 million payoff when he can just stay there for a year and get it 18? I don't know. No one knows.
You say how much money these blokes want. It's a short career. He's not played a lot of injuries. You'd want to play, wouldn't you?
Get 3 million in one lump sum, and then come and play for 20 grand a week or whatever.
I'm pretty sure you can negotiate that a bit higher up, and
exactly that, because they obviously do want to release him in some form, because he's not part of their plans. So all of that aside, if Cardiff City signed the two of them for next season, how big of an impact do you think they can have on the pitch?
Oh, massive, because they're far superior players at that level. So, yes, but it'll be still difficult, no doubt. But yeah, can you put the added pieces around to make sure they're a good team, because yes, they're great players, but two players don't necessarily make a team. So you've got a good quality around it.
Well, you could use United as a bit of an example of that last year. You had Ronaldo who scored a lot of goals, but they just couldn't get it going around him. And you're talking...
There's no point be scoring loads of goals if you're conceding loads of goals. And,
exactly that.
Running midfield or... so...
you've
got to have some kind of balance, but I'm pretty sure, they've got a plan, and let's see how it works out.
Yeah, I like a lot of the players they've signed. It's like a good mix of players in the lower league who've done well, who deserve their opportunity, and then players who've been released by Premier League clubs or, young players. They've got something to prove. And also, like Craig makes a good point there, I think it was Craig, for these players, these young players, if you get to train with Gareth Bale and Ramsey and people like this on a daily basis, that's only going to make you a better footballer if you've got the right attitude, isn't it? It's the benefits of playing with players of that quality at the end of the day.
Yeah, 100%. Sorry, I was taking my boot off, so I put it on mute because I didn't want the sound. But
the Velcro sounds.
Yeah, 100%. It's it can only help, especially young players. The experience again, you can see that with some of the young players for Wales that have gained experience through playing with players like that. So yeah, it can only be good. But like I say, you don't want to be getting a trouncing every week. So they have to get a good balance. Or Gareth Bale won't be happy. He won't be staying there long if they're getting beat every week or down at the bottom. So yeah, it's a bit of pressure, but good pressure to have. Yeah,
and the revenue that they bring in from shirt sales, I mentioned, but also the crowds. The crowds were poor last year at Cardiff, really, on the whole. And I think straight away,
you see full crowd, full attendance every week.
100%.
Because the kids wanting to go to see Gareth Bale's parents taking them. So yeah, and especially if they have a good start and they're up there.
Well, I remember the anticipation of Bellamy making his debut.
Don't disrespect me, but Gareth Bale is like won 5 Champions League.
Exactly that, mate.
To Bellamy.
Oh yeah, 100%. And that's what I was going to say. And like Bale is like just another level on top of that. So the anticipation and like you could see it on like social media and stuff now already. Even like the non-Cardiff accounts on Twitter are already like, bigging it up and kind of talking about it constantly because it's a big story. And I think as much criticism as the board has taken, if they pull off, Bale and then potentially Ramsey on loan, you've got to give him credit for that because I think that wasn't, it's not unexpected. They could have probably gone to most places and got a lot more money and on this, so they've sold him on something, whatever it may be. But we'll see. Obviously, to be confirmed. Heard a few things, but we'll see. We'll wait and see. But the other big news, mate, from Welsh football this week was something that we touched on a bit last week, and kind of a potential problem or distraction there could have been later in the year if, depending on how your brother's trial goes and stuff like that. But he did stand down. I've had loads and loads of questions about this. So first of all, a couple of people said what they wanted to know, what kind of get an insight into him in terms of what his opinion is of Wales, as in has he stood down to protect his own image, or has he stood down because he thinks that's the best thing for the Welsh football, like for Welsh national team?
Protect his image, what do you mean?
Well, obviously he's got a contract, haven't he? And if he, whatever, trial falls through, he gets a not guilty, whatever happens, but it results in him being able to resume that contract, it could have been an issue because he would have obviously, going into the World Cup, you'd have had a bit of a, like a disagreement over who should be the manager and things like that, because they both got a contract for it. I know you said before the only the Welsh job was important to him and big for him, and he was proud to be would have been proud to be the Welsh manager and stuff like that. What was your reaction when you seen that he had resigned?
Probably the best thing to do, really, isn't it? Is that me crackling or you? Oh, that's you. It's just best thing to do. It's the best thing all around to do. So it's he probably didn't want to do it. Wouldn't want to do it. People who don't like doing things they don't want to do, don't necessarily do it, and wouldn't want to do it. But in a no-win situation, really, if he stays on, collects the money, and stays on and gets through it, and he's like you say, they've got a situation which is distraction, which he wouldn't want, and then so he's just done the right thing, but he wouldn't have wanted to do it, but it's something he would have had to do.
Were you surprised that it came that it came now and didn't come before or later? Or did you think the timing's right now because they've qualified?
Who knows?
I'd like to think the Welsh FA have been in fairly regular contact with him in terms of what will happen in certain situations and stuff, but who knows? It's a couple of people in the chat saying Geraint says he did the honourable thing not to come back and steal Page's thunder. He may, and Will says he might get his chance in the future. You never know. It's kind of, I don't know. It's a weird one because
it's a difficult situation because all these young players now that they're performing, he's brought them in and given that experience, and now that Robert Page is reaping the rewards, but still, you still got to put the players out, do what he's done in the last 2 years or year and a half, whatever it is, and it'd be a travesty for Robert Page not to take Wales now to the World Cup because of the hard work he's done. But the groundwork was all set by him, and people seem to forget that. But that's the position he's put himself in and the position he's in. So you just got to grim and bear it. Yeah, but people do forget that all the young players that they blooded through that now that a season like Ampadu, take players like that who are first name on the sheet now, and experienced, strong international players, and that Robert Page is reaping the rewards now.
100%. It's and I find it fascinating. I seen a Facebook post yesterday. Someone had, I think it was on the Cardiff City group. They said about his statement, and he'd quit, and just all these people slagging him off. And look, I get it why people would
it always goes back to his playing career that it sticks in people's craw. I think that
the friendlies and
60 odd games for Wales. Yeah, he played 1,000 games for Man United. So
yeah,
which is right. Which is right.
Like you said, he has it's been brought on by his own actions at the end of the day in certain situations, but also he came into that Wales job, wasn't maybe the first choice for a lot of people, but then when he first started, I felt like he almost tried to stick with what Chris Coleman had done before him, and he kind of he stuck with your Hal Robson-Carnews and these guys who were coming to the end of their career. It didn't quite go to plan for him, but what he then did is he brought in the young players and played the way he wanted to play, the system he wanted to play, and the way he wanted to play. And he's, like you said, he set it up so that when he did leave for whatever reason, and Robert Page stepped in, I know there was some people who criticised Robert Page a little bit in the Euros tournament, but because of the groundwork that had been set, Wales was still able to, give a pretty good account of themselves in that tournament. And then since then, they've been able to build on that. So regardless of what you think of him personally, and I don't mean you, I mean other Wales fans or whatever, you've got to kind of suck it up and give him the credit that he deserves. Whatever else happens in the future now is gonna.
Yeah, you don't really get that on social media, though, do you?
No, you don't get a balanced view, do you?
You just got to understand what platform you're on, and just it's a geezer with a profile. It's not his face on there. It's some weird name. So yeah, you just got to. But like I say, sometimes you put yourself in that position, and we'll wait and see if he has or not. But it's not a good position to be in. But we'll see in the next few months how it pans out.
And like Craig has said, now I'm going to put it up on the screen because it kind of is in line with what we were saying. He said it's strange that Speed, Coleman, Toshak, they all get the credit, but never Giggs. All have had a major part, including Brian Flynn and, of course, Robert Page, in building that transformation of Welsh football, which started with John Toshak, and every manager since has had to take that on another level in their own way. And that includes Ryan. Like, he had to bring in the likes of Ampadu and these to go alongside the players that Toshak had brought in to start with, who would then, the likes of Bale and this. Like, people forget John Toshak, and I know, like, people forget, and I'm guilty of this. I'm doing a show next Tuesday with Lawrence Mora about the transformation of Welsh football, and I said from the transformation of Welsh football from Gary Speed to the World Cup. Well, actually, when I thought about it afterwards, I was like, no, it started with John Toshak, because he went and said, right, I'm not going to care about the results. I'm going to put basically the majority of the 21s into the first team, and we're going to build for 10 years' time. And that's now. But even I forgot that. And I think you have to give credit where it's due, regardless of what you think of certain things off the pitch, basically, isn't it?
No,
or
it
even
always sticks in people's craw that he didn't play enough, they retired.
Yeah.
Retired earlier than he should have, really, for Wales. You should never, in my mind, I would have never retired from your country just when you stop getting picked and you stop playing. But he obviously was under pressure to do what he did and did it.
But also, would he have retired? Would he have turned up more? Would he have retired as early as he did if he had the quality of players which are there now around him?
No.
But then, he had some good players around him.
Because when you're used to winning, and then every time you go somewhere, you're getting beat, and for like 10 years, and you're coming away thinking, all that travelling, all the stuff becomes a pain. But if you're winning, all that stuff's irrelevant, because you're coming away happy, you've got a good feeling, you're in the Euros, you're in the World Cup. Instead, they're not qualifying for any World Cup, you're not getting anywhere near the Euros. And when he's going home, he's winning every week and winning trophy after trophy after trophy after trophy. So what do you want to do? And then probably the managers put pressure on him. Listen, we need you, but you can't be doing this. You're at a certain age now. I need to crumble to that. No doubt about it. And then just retired. So, yeah.
It's very difficult when you've got a manager who was as successful as Fergie, but not just from a footballing point of view, but the relationship which they would have had away from football as well. Like, he was like a very influential figure on him, and I would imagine advised him a lot over the years on different things and stuff like that. So of course he's going to listen to him if he says, skip this game, it's a friendly, we've got a big game next week against so and so in the Champions League. It's it is what it is. A couple of comments. Owen says he thinks Giggs might get another chance to manage Wales later down the line if he wants to. Craig says, if Robert Page keeps doing well and then gets a job in the Premier League, maybe Giggs.
If that happens, then yeah. But I really can't see him going back there.
No, I think, to be honest, I think it's more likely he moves on now to sort of the Premier League and maybe the United job ultimately in the long term.
Depending on, we have to see what happens in a couple of months.
Yeah, I think that's been moved again. I think, haven't it? But yeah, obviously the outcome of that will be dependent, I suppose, on where things go. We'll stick with the Championship for a second. The fixtures come out. Middlesbrough kick off the season live on Sky. We've got Vincent Kompany taking charge of Burnley, which is going to be a really really fascinating one for me, because I'm just not quite sure how that's going to go, because like I think you said last week, he hasn't got any experience at that level. So Championship is different, isn't it, to any other league, I think.
Oh yeah, it's brutal. Saturday, Tuesday, or Saturday, Wednesday every week. High-speed games, good quality, but just not the world-class players that you see in the Premier League. But very good players, and it's a difficult league. There's a lot of teams in there, and you play a lot of games. So, but it's good. It's important to get a good start. You get a good start, and also you have a good season. But you get a bad start, then it's you're up against the 8 ball early on, and it's difficult.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting where they go. Craig said, so Pope was signed for Newcastle today, Nick Pope, and apparently Bellamy was coaching at Burnley, which I think we predicted, didn't we, last week, that Bellamy would be involved because he had done some stuff with him at Belgium. So it's going to be really interesting because obviously Bellamy has got some championship experience as well. So that kind of makes sense. Who got relegated in total? Remind me. It was, what was it? Watford.
Derby, Barnsley, and Peterborough.
No. Who got relegated from the Premier League? It was
Norwich, Burnley, and
Watford. Was it Watford? Yeah.
Watford, yeah.
So yeah, there's going to be some big players in there, but it will be interesting to see kind of which players stay with their clubs, which players go, because obviously I see Middlesbrough have signed Ryan Giles on a season-long loan. That is a phenomenal signing for them. 22 years old, played at Cardiff for the first half of last year. I think that's a really good signing for Middlesbrough. Sadio Mane has left Liverpool, signed for Bayern Munich. It made me chuckle because 2 weeks ago he was one of the best players in the world according to Premier League social media, and now he's overrated and we can release him. Yeah, we don't need him. Very fickle as always. But were you surprised to see him go, considering they've been quite successful, or do you think Bayern's a big pull?
No, because he's wanting to leave for a while now. But then again, I'm surprised did someone leave a winning team like that. You get into finals. So when I think about it like that, but then you're going to Bayern Munich, you're going to be winning leagues, you're going to be going to finals, you're going to be competing. So just some players want a new challenge, a new change of scenery. I understand that because that's what I would have been like. I wouldn't want to stay somewhere for my whole career. I would want to travel and go different places and see different things. But everyone's different. So
yeah, look, I think I'm the same. I think it's such a short career, and with the money that's involved in football these days, you can go and play in one of the top leagues and get paid decently. So why wouldn't you want to go and learn a different language, see a different city? I do get that completely. Do you think they need to sign anyone to replace him, or do you think the boy they signed in January, I
think they've brought him in to replace him, knowing that Sadio was on his way out, and Sadio Mane was on his way out. But it's still a loss because when they had the multiple players, you've got someone to come off the bench, but Mane does a lot of legwork, a lot of legwork. It won't be the same without him for Salah. I guarantee you that, because he's a big part of their team. But we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I think he's the one who, out of the front three, who does the legwork and the work rate. Like Salah will do a little bit, but nowhere near the level of Mane.
No. Salah does little 5-yard, 10-yard runs, both little 5 or 10 yards. He's not a major workhorse like Mane is.
Yeah, it'd be interesting how he does. No movement from your boys yet, but there does seem as if it's kind of all in place for a couple of signings and stuff like this. But it's never ending. And that's what I was going to ask you. So Richard Arnold, who's I think is Ed Woodward's replacement.
Yeah.
Because they've signed though, and there was some rumblings of a protest, and they were going to turn up at his house, but they went to the pub first. He got wind of it and went to the pub to meet the people who were going to do this protest. Had a couple of pints, bought them all drinks, and talked to them quite openly. like a normal human being instead of the PR spiel. And they filmed him in secret, which I thought, you got to expect that, I suppose, in social media era. But I thought it was a bit disingenuous, considering he was giving him the time and he was acting like a human being, I guess. But what did you make of kind of the gist of the conversation and the way he was? Were you surprised? Were you, I don't know, what did you make of it?
It's just all a bit, this is Manchester United and we're seeing this kind of stuff happen. This is where we're at. Yeah, this is where we're at. Am I surprised? No. He's not an idiot. He probably knows the people are filming and recording it. If he didn't, then he is an idiot. But, no, I think he seems to have said most of the right things. It's just getting on side now. That's all it is. It's getting on the right side. Because if you get on the wrong side, the fans... they'll let you know about it, and so the protest, they obviously don't like the protest that's going on. It's a distraction and all the rest of it. So, but again, we'll just wait and see. They're haggling with De Jong by the sounds of it over a couple of mil or 5-10 million. Why don't they take 11 million that they're going to take out the club, and there's your 10-11 million, but that's not going to happen. So yeah, it's
it does feel like
it needs to get done quick, but because these protests, they're going to come thick and fast. It's only going to get stronger, bigger and stronger until these people are out.
It's they always seem to be haggling over like a couple of million or a couple of grand wages, and then that's how they end up.
Barcelona and money problems. Let's just hold out. This is what we're offering. Playing hardball. This is Barcelona. They probably just told them to go and do one. And they're under pressure now because they need a player like De Jong. So
yeah, it's I saw that it looked like a couple of days ago that Eriksen was starting to maybe didn't want to leave London. However, there was a story, I did see a couple of stories today that said that basically Tottenham have pulled out of the running for signing him. So I think that sways it more heavily towards United if it's true. Because I don't think if he wanted to stay at Brentford, he would have done it.
There's other clubs in London, mate. West Ham. There's other clubs in London. I've seen other teams after him, but I can't see him. If that's true, and his family want to stay in London, I can't see him leaving.
Yeah, I guess like if you take Tottenham out of it, who are obviously in the Champions League, if he's going to go to West Ham, for instance, why wouldn't you just stay at Brentford? I guess somewhere where you're settled.
West Ham are a better team and are in Europe.
Yeah, I guess. But I think if he was going to stay at Brentford, he would have done it. So he's obviously got that in mind.
He was by far Brentford's best player when I watched him at the end of the season at Old Trafford.
Well, yeah, you said you thought he was the best central midfielder that you saw all season.
On the pitch, yeah.
It'd be interesting where he goes. He's one that I've definitely got an eye on. So today the FIFA rankings got released or updated or whatever you want to say. I got to ask you about this, right? So for our Wales's World Cup group, England the 5th, USA a 14th best football team in the world, Wales are 19th, and then Iran are 23rd. Okay, so I haven't really got a complaint with Wales's position necessarily. What I find weird is that USA is so high, but from what I've read, is obviously you get certain points and stuff for victories and but they play obviously teams which I forget which team it is now, but there's a team in there within their group every year who they beat between 7 and 10-0 every game.
Okay.
So obviously I think from what I can gather, there's a couple of hard games, and then the rest of them are kind of whipping boys. So should that count for the same amount of points as Wales, who have been sort of marked, if you like, for playing Holland and Poland and teams like Belgium and stuff like that? It just doesn't sit right to me if you're doing rankings, because I don't know. It's just strange.
This Nation League is just glorified friendlies. It's just getting prepared for. You can see this with the results that England getting beat off Hungary 4-0 at home. Come on, players are knackered. They played 60-odd games. It's the end of the season. It's just bollocks. It's just, the games are poor, and then they've got to play four games in like 2 weeks or 12 days when they've just played 60-odd games at the end of the season. It's just poor timing, and you obviously see the results. They're all over the show. Should Wales be put with Belgium and Holland? These are the teams you want to be playing against. For when you come against them in the Euros and the World Cup, you've got experience against them. Belgium, we always seem to play Belgium. But Holland, it's all good experience. No one really gives a shit about this Nation League. So you get relegated, possibly. We've still got a couple of games left. We can beat Poland at home, and then we can get another result somewhere else. So it's not over, but yeah, it's not a major issue. These Nation Leagues, I don't even pay any attention to it, to be honest.
No, I don't care about the Nations League, but my thing was more the ranking, like the actual FIFA rankings, simply because where you are in the rankings.
But you know as well as I do, these rankings. Who's making these rankings? Like, who's putting these rankings in the same as UFC? These pound for pound fighters. Same with boxing. What? He's pound for pound best fighter? No, he's not. But there's some square doing it. So who's doing these rankings? So you don't really take much notice to them. I bet England are probably second or third or something like that.
What were they? Fifth.
Yeah. So mind you, to be honest, fifth is probably about right. Even third, fourth, fifth. But because they've got, to be fair, to the Euros and final, and they've done well in the World Cup. So. But yeah, these rankings. Who's doing the rankings first?
Yes,
give me names. Some square in FIFA. Do me a favour.
Do you know
going off logistics? Not logistics. What's it called? Moneyball. What's it called? What's the word I'm looking for?
Statistics.
Not statistics. No. Someone come in with the word I'm looking for. It's off the film Moneyball.
I'm sure someone will tell us that.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. So I got a few friends in America. The Americans are super, super confident about the World Cup. They think they're going to win the group, and because they do so well in these group, in the qualifying and stuff. And I'm just like,
yeah, they say that they're not experienced playing against European sides. They're playing against teams that players who play in the MLS. It's different when they come over and play yours. Don't get me wrong, they'll be competitive, they'll be strong, they'll be fit. But no, I still fancy Wales. I still fancy England to come out of that group. But USA, you can't
write them off.
No, definitely not. And if you win that game and you win that game and then you win Iran, then you can rest a few players and play whoever you want against England. It doesn't really matter.
100%, and
that's what you want to do in these tournaments. You don't want to be playing your full side every 3 games, because when you come to the knockout, they're knackered.
Spot on, mate. I was trying to think who the American star players are, who's their sort of big names, if you like. Pulisic as well, isn't he? He plays for the American.
Pulisic, yeah.
I'm going to have to look, and that's what I mean. I don't know. I bet you that as I bring this up now, I bet you the majority of their star players are based in Europe. So you've got Christian Pulisic, Giovanni Reina, and then there's a lot of MLS players. Jeez. And then of course you've got some players which are based in the Dutch leagues and stuff like this. So yeah, I mean, they will be. I think they will be a lot better than what people think. People think America or MLS, but actually a lot of their strongest players, they play in Holland and all over Europe. So I mean, if anyone whether Wales or England thinks that they're going to be, they're going to be easy to beat. Bless you, mate. Anyone who thinks the Americans will be easy to beat will be in for a shock. However, Analytics.
Yeah, go on. Sorry.
No, but I think anyone who thinks the USA are not going to be right up there competing with Wales and England to get out of that group, I think you are massively misjudging.
Yeah, they'll be definitely eyeing the Wales game. So England will be a struggle, even though they still think they could maybe get a result. But yeah, they're behind the Wales game. If we win, because Iran will probably be the whipping boys.
You'd
I'm
hope
thinking.
so, but they're only a couple of places below us in the rankings, mate.
Yeah, but the quality is, the quality of football. I still think we should be beating them.
Absolutely, mate. I would imagine that Iran.
Where are USA in the rankings?
That's what I was saying. There, so USA are 14th best team in the world, 5 places above Wales.
When have you ever seen USA get to a major tournament? When was the last time you even got to a major tournament? Yeah, you can't. If you got to think about it.
It doesn't come to you straight away. Like, obviously they qualified, they hosted it, didn't they? They won, so they were.
Right, yeah. But
I'm trying to think. They haven't been in it for a while.
Exactly.
The United States.
So how?
Right, you are. They haven't qualified since 2014. So from 1990 all the way to 2014, they were in every World Cup. Yeah, and then from then,
I'd fancy Poland, Denmark, Belgium, Holland, all to beat them. Who else is there? Minnows. Oh, probably on par with Finland or something like that. Norway. Mind you, Norway've got Haaland now, haven't they?
Yeah. There's players. Every team's got like one or two, haven't they? Who's probably decent.
Yeah, it'd be interesting this World Cup because then you can see.
I saw. Sorry, mate, to interrupt you. I saw a paper. I can't forget which paper it was. It was like the Independent or something like that. It might have been. They did like a little box table of like favourites, potential, whipping boys or whatever, and then a lot of people have got Wales as a potential team which can go on a bit of a run and get quite far into the tournament. But I class our group as one of the toughest groups there. So I just think the main thing we've got to concentrate on is winning those first 2 games. Don't think past that because we have got a really hard group and people are looking past it already. So, yeah, it's going to be tough, mate. It's got to be tough. So we come to the conclusion the FIFA rankings are absolute dross. Is Nick Pope a good signing for Newcastle?
Yeah.
And why in 2022?
Probably, if we're going off keeper's ability, goalkeeping ability should be England's number 1. He's been at Burnley who struggle every year. The only question mark you've got against him, if he's playing for a better side, that he won't be called upon much, and then is his concentration up to it when he is called upon. So we'll just have to wait and see about that. But he's England's number 2 or number 3 or whatever. So
I think he's their number 2, isn't he? Really, because I think they take him and Tom Heaton, don't they? Tom Heaton's there as the experienced head. Oh, Ramsdale. Yeah, I forget him. I don't know because I don't know how he's in the England squad.
Yeah, exactly. Get relegated 3 times, but come to England.
And obviously, Hennessy might get some more game time at Burnley now, which is a good thing for Wales.
Yeah. He's never let Wales down. He's a good, very good keeper. I like him.
I've always liked him.
Yeah.
I don't like this thing of undisclosed fees, mate. It bugs me.
Why?
I don't know. It just bugs me. Like, I want to know how much Newcastle spent on him because they've got so much money. I want to know if they overpaid or if they.
If things like that bug me, you need to get out.
When I say bug me, I'm not losing any sleep over it or anything like that.
Yeah, people do it, don't they, for some reason? I don't know why.
Yeah,
and then people just speculate and put out a number, and
that becomes gospel.
Get it wrong. So yeah,
they are. Craig says it's 20 million. So there we go.
Yeah, you're 20 million.
That's what we'll go with. 20. I think 20 million is a fair price actually for an England international. He's not massively old, so I think 20 million is a good fair price for him. But
yeah,
we'll see. Okay, let's have a look. Medical staff are facing a trial around Diego Maradona's death
I read that. I've seen that. I mean, I listened to that on the radio before.
So a judge has ordered culpable homicide trial after a medical panel found Maradona's treatment was rife with deficiencies and irregularities. He died of a heart attack in November 2020, age 60. He had been recovering from surgery on a brain blood clot earlier that month. A few days after his death, Argentina prosecutors launched an investigation into the doctors and nurses involved in his care. He didn't stay out of controversy during his life, and he's still going strong.
Serious one, that though. That's what Michael Jackson.
Yeah, mate. Culpable homicide. That's nothing. That's not like a like a civil suit or something brought by the family. That's culpable homicide, isn't it? It's looking at it as if someone's done something very bad. We'll have to see how that plays out. The crime can hold a sentence of 8 to 25 years in prison. So I mean, yeah. And yeah, like that's a big one. He obviously a legend, isn't he? But this, I don't know. I can't decide if it's almost fitting that he just had so much controversy in his life that almost the controversy continues after he's passed away, or if I just think it's a bit sad that he can't just be laid to rest and whatever. But I don't know. It is what it is, I guess. Derby County hosting Oxford United on the opening day. Wayne Rooney looks like he will be staying there. At least they get to start the season on 0 points this year. Do you see them going straight back up, or do you see them struggling?
It all depends what players they come back. Listen to Curtis Davies on the radio. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's listening to news on the Derby news every day. So he's not got a club. He wants to go back to Derby, but he doesn't know because he hasn't been offered a contract. So it's all up in the air at the minute. They need to sort it out, or they're going to be starting against the 8 ball again with no players. So they need to get it fixed quickly. Otherwise, it's going to be a really bad season for him. Wayne Rooney needs to get out there if that's the case, because just ruin his reputation.
Yeah, and at the moment, even though they went down, his reputation is excellent. Like his managerial reputation is probably, for someone who's got relegated, it's gone the other way with him, hasn't it? And I think 100%. If they're not going to have a new owner who's going to be able to help them out now, in the next week or two, that he probably does need to say, look, I've done my bit. I don't know where I stand. I need to go. I saw a thing on the BBC which said some of the players who are still under contract have been told to seek legal advice over the employment law and stuff like that, and whether they can have their contracts ripped up because they don't know what where they stand and all the controversy. Like they could end up, like you say, with no players again. I think there's only 5 first-team players who have got contracts for next season, while there's 2 others who have got options to extend existing deals. So you're talking 7 first-team players, potentially, if those ones extended their deal. And then kids, 7. That's just...
Yeah, and obviously players you can bring in, like I've just said, Curtis Davies, who knows all about, free agent. These are the type of players you need to get in.
But they've got to do it, mate. They've got to get it in now, because Curtis, like if I was Cardiff City, mate, I'd be looking at Curtis Davies, trying to get him in. I think he'd be a great signing. And clubs will start, looking at these players. These players will then be like, oh, I got to play somewhere. I want to hold on, they can't hold on forever, mate, can they? Because then other clubs find someone else. So you've got to be careful with it, at least. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. He's done such a good job, but is it time to walk away? Is the question, I guess.
We have to wait and see.
Indeed, mate. So obviously, like we started the show talking about your foot. What's your plans now for the next couple of weeks? How's the recovery? What's the recovery plan?
Nothing, just nothing. I can't really do anything. Just in the boot for the next 2 months. It is getting better, but it's just a slow process, this one.
You know, could you like get like a buggy and then like stand still, take a golf swing, and then get drive? So
I could do that, but I'm doing that next week. Actually, the first time we do that, mates just messaging me saying we can't do it at our golf club because there's a charity day there. So I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. But I'm on you, so I'll figure it out when we get back. But yeah,
at least
I
you
could
can
do that.
Get out of the house then and play a bit of golf.
But yeah, it's just that's it. Just waiting, ticking down the days. But probably end of July, I'll probably be out walk. Probably. But still, I can walk, but it's with a limp and it hurts.
Yeah, you don't want to do any more damage to it, do you?
No.
Just complicate it.
What I do is start all over again.
No. On the derby thing, mate, a couple of people put some comments in. Their first league game is in 6 weeks, and they've got at the moment 5 first-team players.
Yeah, Wayne Rooney enjoying his holiday. So,
God, I don't blame him for that, mate. To be honest, he can't do anything.
Neither do I. But if people who want to have a good season will hit the ground running, you're there.
They're there now.
5 weeks before.
Cardiff picked up Derby's goalkeeper. There's other players who could potentially be picked up. Geraint says Mike Ashley is waiting in the wings for a cheap steal.
I've seen that. No, but they don't seem to
50
want to
million
work
set
with
aside. Right, Mike Ashley. Did he do anything wrong with Newcastle other than be a bit stingy with money?
No, that's it.
So I see a lot of people slagging him off and calling him a crook and that, but no one is able to tell me what he did. And I'm not saying that there's not reason why people don't like him. I'm not in the know on it, and I don't quite know what why he's got such a bad reputation. Is it just that he was tight? I don't know. But he was linked with Cardiff, which gave me palpitations because of everything. But it looks like he's very interested. If you search Mike Ashley now, he just comes up with loads of stories about Derby and trying to ramp up his bid. So I mean, looks like he's going to get a nice low price. So Craig says if he gets the price he's offering, they will get another point deduction. I see. Rooney should get out of there, shouldn't he? Just be done with it. Because I can't see a way how he's able to move it forward with a board in place, and he's either going to have a point deduction or not know who the owner is and have to play with kids. And it's unfortunate. But someone tell me why Mike Ashley, why no one likes him, and why he's such a bad owner. But so that's kind of the football roundup for the week. We'll be back next week, hoping that we can get some guests on as well. I was not able to sort one out in time for this week, but we'll see what we can whip up next week. And if you've got any questions, you've got about 30 seconds to do it. Okay, what are you up to now, mate? You watched Love Island, didn't you?
Starving. I'm going to get some food. I'm really hungry, so I'm going to cook some food.
What's the Love Island update? Come on.
I haven't watched it for a couple of days.
Going to catch up now with some food. Right. As always, mate, appreciate your time. And we'll speak to you soon. Nice one to everyone for watching. Laters.